Waarom zou je genoegen nemen met goed genoeg als je hem en hem in je Ultimate Team kunt hebben? Speel met ons of tegen ons. Of roep je squad bij elkaar en ga de strijd aan. Dit staat je allemaal te wachten met PlayStation Plus online multiplayer.
Good morning, guys. Back on Shroud of the Avatar. And I think it's time to go for the first dragon of the day. Why the hell not? Eat some food first. Be munching on my bear and dragon stuff. Nom nom nom. Man, it got hella late last night. Sorry if my voice is a bit messed up. Can't help it. Been smoking like a chimney. All good though. Perhaps it's a good idea if I put my game capture on. Aye, that's better. Rightio. Okay, I think we're good to go. Let me put the music down a bit. As always, if you have any trouble with the music, please let me know. I'll just put it down. Or I'll turn up the volume, you never know, right? Okay, I thought let's talk a bit about what I'm doing here. Running to the dragon, I always start off with my Strength of Earth buff. It's nice and strong, level 130, and it will give me, without Earth gear, I'm running life gear, so without Earth gear, give me 43.7 strength, which is not all too bad. I'm gonna smack on a douse, gives me some more fire resist. I'll charge my Shield of Ice. For some more damage mitigation, smack on inner strength, smack on some ignite weapon and get ready for the fight. I want to be fast, make sure I charge my dash. I want to make sure I got some heals over time, so I will charge my healing grace. And when that's ready, I'll start applying my poison, Scorpion poison, and start charging my fireflies. I want to hit a 5 stack of fireflies on that mean old big red dragon. There we go. Now I'm gonna switch to Berserker stance and start charging Rend. Rend can apply up to 3 times. That's 1, that's number 2 as you can see here, and here is number 3. Now what I always try to do is keep the Rend on always. So the moment the dragon flies away and he decides to be up in the air for half a minute and my Rends were not walking, I would not crank out damage. So I always try to keep Rend running. Now as you also see, the dragon flies up and I start charging my healing grace, just to make sure again that I have a crisp heal over time running on my ass. I start charging my heals and back on the Rend. Now I always do 3 stacks again of Rend, just to make sure, like I just said, that if the dragon decides to fly up more often than just a little while, the dot is still running. I'm spamming 3 skills. Thrust, the biggest important one, offhand, a very strong one as well, and double slash. Now sometimes you will see another blue spell pop up, that is inner strength, because I want to reapply my inner strength. Charging coup de grace, the final hit to get the dragon dead on the ground. And there she goes. That was a quickie. Let's see if there's any good loot. Normally not, but all the little crappy loot stacks up to some decent loot here. If you were to grind the dragon for a few hours, you will have stacks of clutter in your backpack, but it will be good for a lot of gold. If you were not to hoard anything but to sell most, you'll get a pretty penny out of it. Now the respawn time on this thing is a few minutes, so it would be kind of boring just to stand here still waiting for the next one. So I think I'll just use a teleport to zone scroll to dive into a different instance and get another dragon. Few options there. I'll avoid doing the dragon sisters well online. Last time there were a lot of people, well, a lot. double digits, quite low then. People watching, and I had this gut feeling that we got stream sniped a bit. I don't know, it was lots of fun. I died, another guy died, another guy died again, and another guy died again, and turned up to be a nice guy, and made a new friend in game. Always fun. But for now, let's keep that PvP zone. We can go to the Rise, we can go to Kroll for the Clockwork one, we can go to Northwest Black Blade Mountains, if I'm correct, for the ancient one or the yellow one. Doesn't really matter. Let's see if there's anybody there already. Probably not. 92 teleport scrolls. We've been looting these teleport scrolls more than often, it feels. Let's go to unknown. Of course, not complaining about looting teleport scrolls. Always nice to have them in big stack. It would be very, very awesome though if next to the teleport and the recall scroll, the teleport to zone scroll would also drop in as loot. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Those things can be bought for kotos, and I have this gut feeling that they rather make a little dollars on the side than have it as a drop, but who knows? Buffing on some wake and bake, hope you guys don't mind. Alright, there is a lot of players find this a creepy zone. If you don't like the darkness, gotta love night vision. Except if you don't like green, then you're screwed. Okay, what I normally do here is I start off with my pure fire deck, and I kill everything up into the dragon, and I go back to swords. But for now, let's just skip most of the area and just straight run to the dragon, because we want some haunches. And if you're interested in haunches, I got this haunch that my vendor is stocked. This way. I'll just leave those guys here for now. Just really in for only the orange pit dragon. Now while I'm going down, I'll start charging some fresh buffs. So a fresh shield of ice. Inner strength and some fresh ignite. I'll douse myself up, and the rest of the buffs are still running or not helping me at the dragon. Again here, I want to be fast, so I charge my dash. I want to have a crisp heal over time, so I charge my healing grace. I've got life spec, so it will be a 6 stack. And as you can see at the tooltip, even for a melee build with just a little over 100 int, it's quite nice. Apply the poison and start stacking my fireflies. Oh, fizzle. Alright, I go into Berserker stance and start charging the rend. Now, I can't properly apply a rend on its ass if he's in the air. What it will do is apply the healing modifier from the rend, but it will not do the damage output. So I just hope he will be back on the ground soon, so I can probably smack a 3 stack on him. That's number 1, number 2, and number 3. Now I'll apply a flash poison and start spamming his ass. Now, you sometimes see me spin the dragon a little bit, like here. Oh, I was a bit too late. Let's try that again when it's not flying. You can dodge most of the physical attacks on the dragon. By spinning it a little bit, as in if he's whooping his wing at you and you sort of dodge it, it will just miss you, which is nice. Too bad that will not work if you are not the zone owner. So let's say you are in a party and you are not the first in the scene. There will be a little desync and it will not work. If you are quite close to the other player who is party leader, the response time is a little bit less terrible than if the player were across the world, but still it's not really working nicely. So if you want to kill dragons in a party, I suggest you be the zone owner, or if you're the main tank, that is. Okay, time for some fresh rends. And number 3. Now I can start to coop the grime. And see if I can get him down with some decent big hits. I want to have a big crit here. It's not critting. Ah well. And there she goes. Let's see what this root dragon will bring. Hey Spunga, I just noticed the chat. Yeah, the teleport to zone scroll is craftable for sure, but it's the only one which you can also buy for 1 koto directly from the store. And I think that's kind of the reason, or one of the reasons they did not put it in the loot table. But you can of course make them, yeah. Must say I really like the teleport to zone scrolls, but if I'm using them a lot, I'm shredding through quite a lot of them. And I like perhaps you saw the sharp eye. I loot a ton of teleport scrolls, friend to friend scrolls, but not of course the zone ones. I would rather have them all free in the loot table. But of course, yeah, can't complain too much. See if we can go find us a big, mean, ancient yellow one. Last night was so funny. We were doing it with a big group, but there were 2 of the mean ancient ones, and we just could not get them to split up properly. Now, in the end, we finally did split them up. I was on one, and Shimmy and a few were on one, and then my client crashed. And that was after almost 2 hours of streaming, getting late in the night. So I thought then, okay, we're gonna wrap this up without killing it. For the first time, we went out of a zone after struggling and not dying, but I blame it on a big old crash on livestream. Now, weird enough, it's almost easier to do this solo than with a group, as in if you want to split them up. I find it way easier if I'm here solo. So let's see if I can actually do that, or if I'm just having a big mouth here. Now fighting the big yellow one is similar. It's not doing all too much more damage even than a regular dragon. It just has more hit points, and the biggest thing, it has way more health regeneration. Now luckily my rend takes care of most of that. If it weren't enough, I could always smack on another poison potion to help with that. I believe it's the festering death one, which prevents health regen. I'm not sure. I stopped doing that. I just use my Corpian potion, I use my rends, and that's enough. Same buffs here. When I was a little less high in my life magic, I always used a stacked or a charged soothing rain as well. I just stopped doing that because it's too much hassle, and if you really want to crank out a long, strong soothing rain, it's advised to go water. Or water gear at least, because you can get some enchants on your weapons, getting stronger and longer and wider soothing rains. But in this case, life spec, so I'll just heal through whatever comes at me. And I'll turn down the night vision, not really needed here. Now I hope there aren't 2 big ones from the get-go. I'd rather start the fight here a little easier. Yeah, good. So what I will do, I will smack a rend on him and lure him back. As you see, there are 2 ones, but as long as I keep the dot on one... Oh, and there's a baby! As long as I keep the dot on one and don't hurt the other one will eventually leash back, and the dotted one will come back here. Hopefully. This is the dotted one. gonna get a little bit too crowded over here. Okay, one gone. Similar fashion here. I want at least 3 stack of rend on its high knee. I'll smack a regeneration potion real quick because net when all those mobs were jumping me, I had to spam my heals a bit more, so I was shredding through a bit of more focus than normally. Rather fix that in the beginning of the fight than to in the end stress for focus issues. I also make sure that I always try to keep my berserker stance running. Sometimes you're actively in a fight and you just forget it. But having that berserker stance adds a lot of extra strength and attack speed. It helps a lot. There are a few downsides on it as well. For example, you can see my resist is all the way back to 0 if I use berserker stance. But since I'm dodging most of these attacks here, it doesn't really matter. Okay, run time. Oh, sorry, coup time. Right, let's skin it and go on to the second one. Now, nice thing about this zone is the respawn time is a tad longer than the regular red or black one, but there are 2 up, so you can just for the feeling of it keep on killing them, except if you do it too fast. But yeah, that hasn't been a problem yet. So new fight, new buffs. Grab my eye shield again. Poison. And last but not least, fireflies. Keeping fireflies stacked on your enemy, as you can see here, 102% melee and ranged hit reduction. Just means that if I crit harder. And that can stack with other crit modifiers on either weapons or if you are spec in tactics, your berserker stance will add an insane crit max on top of that. Now, I hope we can get this one down before a new one spawns. Mostly, it seems that the spawn time is long enough to kill one. If not, I'll just run back where we did the one before and split them. But hopefully it's not needed. Although this is a flyy one, he keeps on flying away. In the past there were ways to actively root them, as in they would stand still if you root them. That doesn't work anymore. Now there have been some discussions that if you keep spinning the dragon, like I'll show you right now, as long as you are spinning it, it should not do the flying up move. But in my experience, when the dragon wants to fly up, the motherfucker just flies up. And also, with me being swords, the hitbox is a little bit smaller than, for example, with pole arm. So if I keep on spinning it, I'm sometimes behind it a bit too, or not behind it, but away from it a bit too much to do damage. Now, and I know and I trust on my life to just heal through it, so I don't really bother with keep on spinning it the whole time. You know, I can heal through the fire spits. The only thing is, yeah, if he does the move and flying up very often, then the fight takes longer. But I don't have to steamroll it the whole time. I think that's good addition. It wasn't in the past, and without sounding all too cocky, but in the past I was doing it with death magic in under 1 minute, and then it felt like way too OP. This perhaps looks a bit OP, but to be honest, this is not per se an easy fight, and you have to make sure you have the gear, you have to have the heals to heal through it, or you have to have the dexterity to avoid everything. Yeah, it's a more of a fight than it was in the past, where you could just without any worry spin it and it died. Okay, it's almost rent time, I think. Coup de grace time. Time to die. I haven't seen the crisp 1500 to 2000 damage crits from Coop. Sometimes it's super fun. You're waiting for that dragon to get below the point where you can start using Coop, and if you then charge a Coop and hit the dragon and kill it, it feels very nice. Ooh, second one. I hope I can skin it before it sees me. No, hurry up! No! Oh, hey, there's more. Oh shoot! Gotta love this zone. Didn't expect two of them so fast. No problem. Probably means that I'll miss out on the loot of one of them, but oh well. Perhaps fun for the stream. Okay, one dot on him, so I hope I can just let him leash and have the small one. Have the dotted one come back to me. Don't want two of them. Let me move back a bit more to have them. Yeah, they should be going back to their nest now. Yeah, I already see that the dot has worn, not worn off, but it's doing zeros, so it's out of range. I think it should fly back soon. Oh, he's still there. He's looking what doing to the baby one. Ah, goner. Okay, he'll just run to death. They're right next to each other, okay. One is enough, come on. Okay. A bit more challenging. Yeah, I think we got him now. If the second one stays where he is, it should be good. Come on, friend. Luckily I did have one dot, it should stay. Yeah, let's get this over with. Must not forget my poison. What Scorpion Potion does, I love it. Every time my blade hits him, it gives a little extra damage. So it's not a damage over time, it's just every time my blade hits him, it gives a little bit of damage. And since I'm quite spammy with this build, that takes care for quite a lot of damage. don't want to go into the east all too much. Don't want a brother or the sister joining the fight. Let's get some proper heals over time on me. So sometimes the dragon just does not fly away, and sometimes it flies away a lot. It feels random. Hope I can now finally do just 3 times of a rend. No, I'm not. He's not willing it. Oh, he's almost dying from only the rends, so it's good. Start Coup de Gras in already. And there she goes. Please let me get to skin this one before another one jumps on me. Such a waste of loot. Nothing. Okay, new fight, new buffs. Now hope I can pull the aggro and move him back a bit to prevent when the next one spawns. The same issue would occur that I have to split him up and kill him and not be able to loot one of them. It's such a waste. You know, these things give a lot of artifacts or crap effects, how we like to call it, because not all of them are nice. But you know, I'm using artifacts a lot. Artifacts are always welcome as loot because I'll salvage them for essence, which I use myself or I sell, or if one of the guildies doesn't have the artifacts, I always tend to give them away. Since the market is so saturated with artifacts, I'd rather help somebody be happy with it than to get like 2,000-3,000 gold. Not shy for gold anyway. Oh, little baby. What I tend to do, if in this case the big one is fighting me, the little one is fighting me, and make sure that I put 3 rends on the little one, and I just continue fighting the big one. And 9 out of 10 times the 3 rends on the small one is enough just to get it dead, and not even to worry for the rest, because it's not damaging me all too much. But of course, if I'm fighting the big dragon, I want the small one to at least die, and ideally without all too much hassle. So just rend is your friend. Or if you're polearm, puncture. Damage over time from rend, same as the damage over time from dot, from puncture, from polearm, build enormous pool of aggro points. If you want to tank something and want to hold the aggro, making sure you get the maximum number of dots from your what you can do on him will just make sure that it will probably stick on you, except if there's somebody who has a stronger dot than you. Back a bit. When I'm not sure if I have 3 of them running, I just look at the icon here, and now I see that the stack is at 3. Charge 3 stacked. And Coup de Grace, of Coup de Gras, or how do you pronounce it? I have no clue. Sounds French. There she goes. Now I hope that the big one comes. I'll go kill the big one. And again, a whole list with nothing special. Okay, new kill, new buffs. I'll just start buffing. I have this gut feeling that while in the middle of my buffs, the new one will come. Or I'm hoping that at least. Smack on some fresh strength. I tend to keep on refreshing my strength even though it takes so long before it runs out. I don't know why, I just keep on reapplying it. It's free, perhaps. Perhaps no reagent cost. I'm a cheap Dutch bastard. I reapply my strength of earth before it runs out. Well, nothing yet. I do see here that my sword is damaged a bit. I don't have to repair it all immediately, but I do like to check if it's very low or just a little bit low. Now this sword in general is getting a tad low. Ah, two of them. Alright, dot for one of them. And number two. Oh, I think I missed that. It was already busy in flying back to its nest. Number two and rand number three. Is it three? No, I missed a bunch. Three now. Again, as you can see, I always try to charge my healing grace. Sometimes I wait before it shoots one down, then I release it, just to make sure it doesn't disrupt it. And I start rending it again. A fresh 3 charge of rend, because otherwise it keeps on flying bastards. Come at me, bro. Number 2 and rend number 3. Yeah. Now, forgot my poison potion. And I also forgot fireflies. And of course I also forgot my berserker stance. Come back here. Oh, he's bringing his friend. Is he? No, he's not. I hope we can get this over with quick and then do the second one there. Now, as you can already see here, this is way better hunches coming in than just waiting out the respawn timer on one of the other ones. Sometimes the fights are more stressy, sometimes you have to split them up, sometimes you have the big one or two big ones, but it's more fun fight than just to, for me anyway, than just to mindlessly grind the other ones. Sometimes that's nice, just killing one, waiting for 2 or 3 minutes and killing another one, that's good, but yeah, if you want some more activity, and you like killing dragons, Northwest Blackblade Mountains is very fun. And again, nothing good. New buff, new kill, new buffs. No, same, I just smack on at least a big 5 stack of rend on his ass, ideally 2 or 3 stacks, and then move back a bit again, because when the second one comes we don't want to be in the middle of it, we want to be at the position where it's easy to have one leash back. So let's do that, just in case. fresh rent. A little bit back more. Because I'm a pussy. And it gives me some time to get my fresh healing grace. 6 stacked. 6 is charged. Come on, friend. Come back here. Oh, we have a little one. Rand is your friend. Move back a little bit. Now we have the little one. Let's smack down 2 or 3 runs on the baby. Baby. Yep, that one will go. Yep, that little one is dead on the ground. Too bad the little ones give really crap loot. They give some reagents and that's it. Some serpent skills and that's it. Perhaps Chris will change the loot table up. I hope. It would be cool if we could get little young dragon heads to start collecting or whatever, just a little bit more than a few serpent skills. Alright, we've been doing a few of them. How many hunches? 9 hunches. No good artifacts yet, or no artifacts at all, but fun times. And that's important as well, right? And I see a few people are looking at the stream again. I'm talking a bit more than the last few days on stream as well. I hope you guys enjoy it a little bit. Ooh! Ooh! Hey, I critted that one. That's... Oh! Alright, let's make this hunch number 10. That will be a good round number to call it a quits, I think. Need some breathing time. I hope that the Aether Dragon, a big blue one, will come back once. They were in for a few releases, like, I don't know, perhaps almost a year ago or half a year ago, not exactly. It was a very strong dragon, which was the fight was similar to these ones, but when it does is dragon sprit from up in the air, it can crit for like 12, 13, sometimes even 1400 if you haven't mitigated any of the damage. It's an insane fight, which I just the day before they removed them, I learned how to solo them. It was kind of funny. So I'm eager to jump back on it when they come back. When you are duoing the things, these ones as well, but the Aether mostly. If you are doing it and you have a pocket healer who can keep Fiend Warding on you, that's super nice. The damage will then be split up between you and the one who cast Fiend Warden at you, and that is for duoing dragons is a lot of fun. And for duoing the Aether Dragon, it makes it very well manageable. Solo can be done, but it's a really stressful fight, and it's a little bit like a coin flip, you know. If a dragon crits for 1400 on you, it's hard to survive that when your health is lower than that. So yeah, But one of the move, and that's kind of like the move to do when you're fighting, solo fighting the Aether Dragon, is just make sure you outrun the big spits. When the dragon flies up, what you can do is make sure you have dash running, perhaps have a wolf speed potion, or you can use your fleet flute to get faster. But make sure when the dragon flies up, and before you start spitting, you sheath your weapons and you start strafing away, and with some running speed stacked, you'll be able to outrun the fire spits. Now, with a fire spit of over 1000, that's kind of important. With fire spits of like 200 or 300 damage, you can quite easy out-heal that, so I'm not doing that here. So that brings us to 11 hunches, not round anymore. Now I can either go for the 20 or call it a quits for now. I think I'll just recall back to Ordinus and go lunch a bit. Was a short video. I thought I'll just record killing me a few dragons, getting a few dragon hunches, and talking a little bit about how I'm doing it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be back for a Sunday evening stream. Okay, see you guys later. Vero out.